Now, as I'm creating this background, what's past the fingers, I don't want to make this so dark that I can't put something over it, as in the way of texture for the material. But what I have created here, by doing a little dark past the fingers, I want some of the jacket. I want to show that it's against something, the material. And now I've created myself a buffer zone. And as many of you know, the buffer zone is an opportunity for me to have a little forgiveness when I'm coming up to an edge of a line. Because otherwise, I'm going to have to, let's just say this is the edge of the hand or finger. And now I want to put the material in there. It would be very difficult for me to match that line every time, and you'll see I'm going over it and whatever. Well, I want to keep this a clean edge. And I also want to be able to show and lift it forward. So it's better for me to show a gradation, because even with that material, even though it's darker behind the hand, it's going to be the same as everything else. It's going to be a little darker as it disappears. So let's go ahead and do that, where this is the buffer zone then. I create my edge, I create my value, I create my gradation, I create that, how the light works. It's such important things to include in almost everything you draw. And then I don't want to see where it stops. Even if it's just, even if it is a more defined shadow, I still don't want to see particularly an edge that is clean, because then it competes with this one. And now I have something more forgiving to pull out from. Now, the thing about this is when I want to have material structure, maybe the weave or whatever, I'm paying attention to the direction, and I still may want to make sure that these go to the finish line. But this is much easier to touch up than to create all of your lines and have them go over your target, because it's very difficult to have the exact starting place every single solitary time. And so I think that this works out for me much better. So I'm glad for the opportunity to create some of this value behind. And you'll see that I've used the principle that everything gets darker. It isn't always going to be that evident, but when I'm initially creating my edge, this is what it's going to look like sometimes. I may make this more of the matching tone to that, if it isn't really a shadow coming this way. And yet I still am pulling the hand away from the background in even approaching just the edge and coming out just a little bit, even if it's just very thin.